Hey there, everyone. Going to get rolling here momentarily. Just making sure Facebook and YouTube are up and running. We're back with another Thursday edition of Beyond the Forecast with me, Erik Kostrzewa. We are going to start things out with a look at the fall colors and when they are expected to peak across the state of Michigan. Haven't seen any color reported just yet, even though some of the trees, which there is a general idea of why some trees start to get a little bit color earlier in the season. You may have seen some of the trees maybe out there on the highways, or some of the younger trees that have just been planted already getting those yellows and oranges and red colors. That is because of age, of course, but also some disease, maybe even some of the cooler air that starts to pool right around some of those locations, such as those freeways, highways, and byways. Those are the main reasons why we start to see some of that earlier color, but we're not expecting any major color change until at least October here. Now we'll start to see some color in the month of September, but the best color and the most vibrant conditions, and you can probably hear my voice happening twice, happening on that live stream. But for right now, and I'm going to show you the expanded view of this map that also includes the Upper Peninsula. This map, courtesy of Explore Fall, gives us an idea that it's going to be more so early to mid-October for mid-Michigan that we will see those best peak colors. That's when the majority of the trees will have changed over to the reds, oranges, and yellows, and when they will be at their best conditions. Now, this is only going to be for about a week or two that you'll spend in the peak color, and then it will start to get past peak and we'll see more of the browns and the trees losing those leaves. But there's that expanded view. I'll zoom in to mid-Michigan, some of the darker greens. That's early October. The lighter shade of green, one step down, that is the middle of October, and then late October for those across Interstate 69 and also closer to Lake Huron. And there's a reason that we don't see that color change until later in October for those across Lake Michigan, Lake Huron. That's because those overnight temperatures are a little bit warmer than as you head further inland because of the lake modified air. So lake temperatures are going to be warmer than the cold Canadian air masses that settle on in from the north here into mid-Michigan, especially during the month of October. So that's why we see a delayed response in the trees and those colors getting a little bit more vibrant towards the end of October, maybe even early November, just depending on how chilly those air masses become and also the water temperatures too. So that's what we're expecting peak color-wise. Now, you can always use explorefall.com to see where some of the color is most active currently. Now, the most recent estimate shows that we have the majority of the color happening out into maybe even some color starting to pop up into the Upper Peninsula, but the Arrowhead of Minnesota into the northern sections of New England, but especially the Rocky Mountains, that's where we're starting to see some of that low color being seen, at least for right now. So that's about it for the peak color. Over the next 5 to 6 weeks, we'll continue to see those colors really popping on the trees, especially as we get into October. One other thing that was colorful last night for some of us, now it did peak, at least the most significant portion of the geomagnetic storm. That happened early this morning, but we did still have an opportunity at seeing the aurora borealis last night, and we will still have that chance tonight. However, the colors here will be muted somewhat because of the wildfire smoke. So because of that haze in the sky, you're not going to be able to pick out the colors of the aurora borealis as well as when we had the clearer night in May and we had that geomagnetic storm of a 5. That's when we saw our best conditions, just not going to be that great. The best case scenario for tonight would be low on the horizon for a lot of us, and then maybe even visible overhead north of US 10, especially in northern lower Michigan and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So the aurora borealis could be seen tonight, but the wildfire smoke in the air probably not going to give us the best opportunity, unfortunately. Got a couple different pieces in the atmosphere that we are watching First one is Francine, which is now a tropical depression. You can see it spinning just to the south of St. Louis. And then we have a big upper level low and associated low at the surface with a cold front that's out into Montana. Even some of the Rocky Mountains out there seeing some snow because of that system, as there is a lot of cool air, cold air that's happening in the Pacific Northwest. Now, out ahead of both of those systems, we are hot and dry. High pressure keeping us nice and quiet, which is giving us a vibrant sunset. So sunset tonight is at 7:49. You'll see that reddish glow to the sun and to the sky because of those smoky skies. If you take any pictures, you can send them in to us through our chime-in. Temperatures around 8 will be at 75, then 9 o'clock we'll dip down to around 70. So high pressure is in place. It'll keep a lot of the rainfall and cloud cover well away from the area. You can see some of those high thin clouds streaming on in. It'll be a hazy, filtered sunshine the next few days because of the smoke and also Francine's high thin cloud cover. But you can also see that all of that rainfall stays off to our west going through at least Tuesday. That's some of the moisture courtesy of Francine kind of gets hung up in the atmosphere. Cold front will try and approach from the west as we get into our Thursday, but you can also see some of that lingering moisture. Could have some tropical moisture that's trying to move on in right here. And that would be as we get into our Thursday. So we're going to watch out for that possibility of the first rain showers happening towards late next week. We'll see hazy skies tonight. There could be some fog in spots down to about 59. One thing you'll also notice is the moon will be red as well because of the wildfire smoke. Not as bad as yesterday, but still a lot of it lingering in the area. The good news is it's not causing any respiratory issues because it is not at the surface. It's well up into the atmosphere, so we just see more of that hazy, milky white tone to the sky, but it's not causing any breathing concerns. Because we would have to be a lot closer to those wildfires, which are happening out west on the western side and the western shores of the United States, but also into Canada. And those smoky skies are being brought in by the jet stream well up into the atmosphere. Could have some fog tonight closer to the Saginaw Bay. We'll also see that possibility going into our Saturday morning as well. So Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, all could feature some fog in spots. Outside of that, just some hazy, filtered sunshine. The next several days is that rinse and repeat forecast. Don't have a lot of change to offer you guys. Each day will kind of be like Groundhog's Day. It'll feel like the same day with the weather, as those temperatures will be in the 80s. We'll see some fog in the morning, then some filtered sunshine during the day, in the afternoon and evening. There's that smoke. We have high pressure that's going to continue to rotate its way through the Great Lakes, and that smoky, hazy condition will stay put through at least Saturday. If you're traveling anywhere, if you wanted to go up north to still get in some of those summer-like weekends, we have very nice conditions on the west side of the state, Grand Haven towards Kalamazoo, Chicago. We are going to see those temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. We'll have some cloudier conditions as you head further to the west, but dry conditions as well. Going down into Cleveland, we are going to see those temperatures in the low to mid 80s, lots of sunshine, some filtered sunshine, some smoky skies as well down there. Same thing into Detroit and also Toledo, and then Flint, mid 80s expected with some of those hazy conditions. London, Ontario also going to be very sunny. And then up to the north, Traverse City will actually be very hot. We'll see those temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, maybe even around 90. Alpena, Port Austin, Houghton Lake, a little bit cooler because of the winds coming off of Lake Huron. Houghton Lake looking very nice, partly cloudy skies, even into the upper peninsula. Foggy conditions in Sault Ste. Marie, but outside of that, just partly cloudy skies. One other thing is fall. The first day of fall, only 10 days away. That happens next Sunday, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday at 8:45 a.m. That is when we have the equinox that occurs, and we officially can say it is fall, even though it kind of feels like fall with all the pumpkins and all the pumpkin spice stuff and all of the trees that are starting to get a little bit more colorful, a little bit brighter out there. Here's that 7-day. That's what I'll leave you guys with as we wrap up this But as you can see, those temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 80s for the next 7 days, and the next best chance of rain won't happen until Thursday, and that's really not that great of a chance all in all. So just a lot of similar conditions each and every day. The warmest temperatures will be Friday through Sunday with those hazy sunny skies. Temperatures at night only in the upper 50s, low 60s, so we'll still need that air conditioning, unfortunately, through the end of next week at least. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for this edition of Beyond the Forecast. Hopefully you guys picked up some good information, whether that was the fall colors, when those will peak. We have a lot of beautiful drives and beautiful views of those colors here in the Lower Peninsula, but especially the Upper Peninsula, so hopefully you guys know when those colors will continue to peak. Now, if it stays warm through the rest of September, we see very little rain, and those nights also stay warm. That could potentially delay the colors, or maybe even, which would not be great, those colors would be not as vibrant. They'd be very muted. It'd kind of look like a dirty leaf rather than those bright, beautiful colors. It's just not going to be that great. So the weather has a big influence to it. We need some of those dry, warm days, yes, which we're getting, but cooler nights. And we also need some rain out there as well. So drought conditions not going to help us out if we continue with this dry spell. So that's what's going to wrap it up for us. I appreciate you joining me. We'll be back next Thursday at 7:30.